Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom, your business journey with Clarita, the podcast where we will discuss valuable insights, resources, and motivation to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Let's build a supportive community together. Subscribe now to Begin, Build, Blossom, and let's embark on your business journey. Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you, whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website www.cmeaccountingllc.com or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Begin, Build, Blossom. Adé Hakim Sayyed is more than just a name. He's a voice, a movement, a creative force reshaping what it means to make music in today's world. What does it take to start with nothing but a vision and turn it into a sound that not only resonates deeply, but helps define a whole era of underground hip-hop? Today, we're going to find out. From being part of the groundbreaking NYC collective Slums to producing tracks that leave an indelible mark on the genre, Adé has proven that success is more than talent. It's about perseverance, authenticity, and a willingness to build your own lane. Whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, or just someone looking for inspiration to carve out your own path, Adé's story has something to offer. So let's dive into his journey, his lessons, and the artistry that makes him one of underground hip-hop's most compelling voices. Adé, welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom. Let's start with this. What does music mean to you, not just as an artist, but as a builder of something bigger?
Thank you for having me. For me, music is a relationship with myself and how I express my mood. So it's kind of like the interface of like what's motivating me or what home do I want to live in? Like do I want to live in a beat song, like a beat tune, or do I want to just kind of be reflective? I wanted to also say like it's definitely bigger than what it seems. Like I could really be channeling some ancestors through the rhythms. So yeah, it's a hard question to just answer black and white. Like music it's life. It's everything. Like it helped me when I was in hard times and when I was going through depression, or it just helped me to really just paint exactly how I was feeling through the highlights. And it's like, it's always been there. It's always been there.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I can tell that music means a lot to you, for sure. You spoke from your heart. That's all we need. All right. So let's get to know you a little better before we go into the business side of things. So can you tell us 2 words, one that describes you now and one you would have used to describe yourself as a child?
So one, as a child, I was very curious. I was curious about the world and I was eager to explore. And then now I'm still curious, but I'm more trying to hold on to my inner child and things that speak to that and uphold that nature.
Great. And what is the name of your business and what do you do in business?
My business is Adé Hakim LLC, doing business as Sunny Walk of Life. And the nature of my business right now is it's more just like a e-commerce website for my merchandise or products connect to my music. And I just look to expand on the branding The branding is Sunny Walk of Life. And I want to take the logo. So this would be like, this is just a brim of the bucket hats. Remember last time I was showing the bucket hats? So this is a logo, Sunny Walk of Life logo, and put it on a bucket hat. So it ends up being on one of these. Pardon the wrinkledness of the hat. This was a rendition of a play on the Sunny Walk of Life. This was just a rendition. This is the classic logo. Like I made this logo with the suns and the people walking underneath the text just to represent the life that we aspire to lead, which is a light of positivity, integrity, and, ownership. My mom is a big inspiration on these themes because she always, raising us as a single mom, she did her best in teaching us how to be men. My brother and I. It was my brother, sister, and I. But for my brother and I, she did her best. She couldn't do everything. But one thing that she was really adamant about teaching me and implanting into my mind is walking a life of integrity. And integrity was this big word that I understood. I just thought that was associated to like manliness. If you are a man, you have integrity. And obviously, growing up from a young teenager, trying to figure out what integrity really means to me, I went through the trials and errors of that pursuit. And Sunny Walk of Life is just that reminder and that I guess emblem and badge that this is where we are. And it started off as a doodle. This is a doodle that I've just put on a t-shirt and people liked it. We sold it and it kind of just became this brand that I'm expanding on.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thanks.
And yeah, kudos to your mom, the moms out there doing the best they can.
Yeah, my mom, she's really the reason why I'm like living such an untraditional way of life. It's a struggle, but she supported my dreams.
That's great. It's really good to have that kind of support. Yeah, I'm hoping we can talk a little bit more about your mom and your upbringing.
No problem.
In the next segment. So thanks so much for that. And what were you doing before you started business?
I was making music, but it wasn't like I was like not. I'm now kind of getting into the marketing of everything. I didn't really I market myself at all. I was actually anti like marketing and anti business and anti industry and anti capitalism, anything, all of that. That whole shebang. I had my fist up in the air and I thought I was going to save the world through my music, and that was not sustainable. So I had to figure out what my audience wants and I had to make sure both of us are happy.
Right.
It's a relationship. Obviously my fan base wants me to be authentic, and that's what it's great. But if you're too authentic, then maybe you might be, the saying, you can't please everybody all at once. If you're too authentic, maybe you're the only one that you're pleasing at the end of the day. And I don't know if money comes from only pleasing yourself. So I had to learn those lessons, and I just studied, and I just kind of became more humble to the fact that, some people, I think you even mentioned in the intro that like music is not about talent, it's about perseverance and such. I also learned that, yes, emphasis on it's not about talent. It's really all about marketing. Some people don't even value the talent aspect of the table, but they're perfect with marketing, and it works. I learned not to be a hater and really just understand that that's where the talent is on those aspects. They're talented at marketing, and that's something I'm not the best in. So I don't bow down like that, but I just
Right. But the good thing you mentioned integrity. So even as you grow and you learn, the foundation for you remains integrity out things. So that does really help the way you do things. So even though you may go with what the mainstream, In some instances, like marketing, it's good that you have that strong foundation to lean on. So that's great. And how many years have you been in business?
Um, I mean, I've been making music and putting it out to the world for, what is it, 2025? Happy New Year.
Happy
Uh,
New Year.
for 11 years.
That's great. Nice. And in those 11 years, what has been the highest high for you, the best moment?
There's so many. I mean, I'm only thinking about one experience, even though I've had so many, so I'm just gonna share that one. I mean, this was a tour, but it wasn't a tour of mine. I haven't been on tour for myself yet, but I've been around a bunch of artists that are talented and have their name out there. And someone I would say came up with is on an amazing run. And during the breaking point, like the beginning of his amazing run, and somewhere in 2019, he went on tour with one of like an artist that we like really looked up to. And my understanding was like, okay, we have this California date. If you guys want to come through, I was invited to come through to this to partake in the California tour stop. But the only thing is that nobody was paying for my tickets, and I had to figure that out. So I went on social media and I made a GoFundMe, and I made the headline, "Help Adé Hakim fly over to California to perform with these artists, Mike and Earl Sweatshirt and Mike." And those names are really big at the time too. And my fan base wanted to see that happen. So in like one day, I think we raised like $700 just to fly over there. Like they really see this camaraderie being commodified, to say the least. And so I flew over there and I met up with everyone, and it was fun. You know, like it was definitely the biggest audience that I got to perform for. I got to play a couple songs as a guest appearance on my friend Mike's set. And so there was an upper deck. There was an upper deck and a lower deck, so obviously. And when we're doing sound check and nobody's there before the place gets packed, we're checking out the whole venue. I guess I forgot why, but we're on the upper deck, and one of the closing act, the star, his DJ was joking, and he was saying, "Imagine rapping from here. Like imagine rapping from up here, like coming up here." And I was like, "That sounds like a good idea. Don't tempt me. I might just do that this show." And everybody laughed, blah blah blah, but I was serious. We had wireless mics, so I could go anywhere I want. So I performed my songs and kind of act as a hype man for my friend, and interact with the crowd and stuff like that. And then on my friend's last song of the set, I run all the way. It was a perfect song because the lyrics go, "People want me 6 feet down while I'm 6 feet above." Right? So basically, like people are praying down on my downfall, but I'm still staying high. Right? And he always had this thing. I don't know if he does it still to this day, but he always has this thing where it's like, "Everybody put your hands up as high as you can, stretch them high." So I ran all the way upstairs. I feel like we were really high there, and I was doing the ad libs for his song, and it took a while for people to realize that I was up there, and I started dapping people up, giving them handshakes, and the whole upper deck was kind of just vibing with me on like as its own section. I was just, it was an amazing experience because I'm just like in this like arena and looking down and seeing where we were on stage, seeing the crowd packed, interacting with the people up upper deck, and it was just a moment that I love to share. And then later on, that the star of the show went on and he performed a song that I co-produced. So this was also another moment where I seen him, and I think for the same tour he stopped in New York, and obviously that was easier to get to. But it was like I came with my wife actually, and this is before we had a child and everything. And I told my wife, I said, if I hear him play our song, I'm gonna run on stage. Like I have backstage passes, but I'm not really cool with everybody. Like, not everybody knows me, but I feel like if I hear my song, this is my sign that I can do this. I'm going to go on stage. So I did that. Right. And, and I was embraced by, it didn't feel invasive. I didn't intrude anything. It was just more like, all right, we did this song together. So after that, I was like, I didn't get to stage dive. Like, I didn't get to live the whole moment out. So next time I get a chance, I'll stage dive. So now in California, stage dive opportunity was there. And I didn't really know what to do, but the people didn't even know that I was going to jump on them. So
Oh,
nobody
you
caught me.
jumped. How did
Yeah,
that work out?
nobody caught me.
Oh my God.
Nobody caught me because they weren't ready. And the way I just jumped, they just weren't ready. I just like didn't let anybody know. Only person they knew was going to stage that was me. They weren't ready.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
did you get hurt?
No, I was fine. No, but no, everybody else was fine. And then once they saw that I got up, everybody was just jumping. It was a funny moment.
Oh my
But
goodness.
to wrap it up, at the end of that show, backstage, I met formally, because I'd seen him in passing and yada, 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 but I met formally an artist that's well known, that I definitely listen to a lot, that's very well respected, and he gave me props for the show. And I'm just thinking, I'm barely part of this in a way where it's, my names aren't on this headline. I did a couple songs, I contributed, however, I'm supporting, but it feels like, such a moment to just see that the potential of like where I can take this with my own music and how I can connect with this many people. And it was a good moment.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that with us. Those sound like very big moments, so that's great. Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you, whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website www.cmeaccountingllc.com or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. And what was the beginning of that dream for you, in terms of becoming an artist?
I was always trying to feel it out. I knew something. I knew that like the fame and the success was going to come. Like it's something that when I meditate on it, I felt it. But I just always at the same time felt like there was something more for me than that. Like that wasn't the end. And it's kind of funny how it panned out because it actually ended up being true. Maybe I just manifested it. I wasn't, like I said, I was so anti-industry, anti-business that when the fame came about, I only capitalized on it like in the ways that was comfortable to me. But in the beginning, I kind of just saw it all panning out. Like, I was heavily into the law of attraction, and I was kind of raised to believe in the law of attraction from early. And I saw signs that it's useful. And, so I was using the law of attraction heavily for my rap career. And I just didn't have any doubts. I didn't have any doubts. If somebody had doubts, and I was like, all right, that's on you. Like, I want to work with a group. If anybody in my group had doubts, like, hey, it was like, I don't know. It was just like people could have saw it as arrogance, but it was just something that I felt like there was no choice. This was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen after that. Like I said, I always felt like that was going to come, but there was going to be something more that I wanted. And now I kind of understand, now that I'm living that version of myself that I was dreaming of. I understand that you had to get here to understand what I want now, from all this, because fame is not the so all be all.
in terms of collaboration, you mentioned group, you mentioned that you co-produce. Can you just tell us, touch a little bit on that for us?
I just started off as like a hobbyist. SoundCloud was like a really big independent underground gold mine. It was an underground gold mine. Introduced myself as just a producer because I was 14, 15, really young, trying to find my voice. My voice was squeaky. I didn't feel like that was cool for raps. So I was just, let me go through puberty first and just understand what I want to talk about. I, in the meantime, was making beats for eventually my first debut project. I got lost in the sauce of production and I fell in love with it. And yeah, it's kind of been my thing, like the production. Even though I started off rapping and writing, I went to school, middle school for writers and artists. And it's funny, it's kind of funny because that's like what I feel like I am today. And then I found a collective through SoundCloud. So I went to middle school for writers and artists, was homeschooled for high school, which gave me a lot of time to focus on that creative ability. And I didn't have that many friends, unfortunately, just due to being home all the time. So a bunch of my connections was either friends from middle school, but they kind of like branched off to their own high school cool era. So I had a lot of connections on the internet, like producers in Australia, producers in Japan, producers. There was a lot of like connections that I was building. Well, obviously there was a big scene in LA and whatnot. But I found out about this artist that lived next to me and I didn't know he lived next to me. We lived like a train stop away and I initiated the whole thing. I asked if he wants to meet up and we'll make some beats and collaborate on something. And then he asked me if I wanted to be a part of his group, and his group was kind of in the early stages. So he was flexible with me bringing my ideas to the group, but I always saw him as the leader and and I respected that. But I also saw myself as a leader of my own vision of what I wanted for myself. So we kind of merged everything. And it's a great group. It was like, we struggled. We all had the common ground of like not having a lot of money and resources, kind of scraping everything that we had to push products out and support each other. We supported each other a lot. And my sound started to really shine working with the collective Slums that we mentioned, and went through a lot of development and maturing. And I then put out my debut project as a rapper, was producing heavily for Mike, who was later on tour that we spoke of, and members in the group that were also really dope. Like the whole group is just amazing, and it just became really successful really fast. Not a lot of people tell the story, but it's kind of because it's not an easy story to tell. We're going to have to be the ones to tell that story. And because the music articles and the blogs and whatever, they all just want to see what they want to see. Oh, this person's working with this big artist. But it's more than that. The co-production was with my homie Daryl. He's also a part of the group. And, I met him the same day I met Mike. Since from there, it just felt like that's kind of been the recipe of success. I worked with Mike, I produced for Mike, and we had this like great bond and chemistry that, was very, I don't know, impactful. And then I would also work with Daryl and we would collaborate on beats where I would like make, help like chop up the sample melody and he would add the drums. And it's kind of crazy how that formula blew up in a way where the big artist that we ended up producing for it was the same way. Me on the melody and Daryl on the drums, and Mike being the big, generational artist that he is. We saw who we were when we were 16, 17, and that kind of just became the formula, and of course we grow up and we go separate ways and all that good stuff. But, I see it as a blessing to work with such an amazing group and to really find my style through working with them. Cause I had my style, but then they kind of forced me to experiment more because I wanted to make something tailored to them, tailored to the group. and then it became me. Like I was, oh, this is really who I am. So they brought that out of me at the end of the day. So I always give it to them.
Great. And listening to you, I'm just curious, what keeps you grounded as you go through all of these experiences? What or who keeps you grounded?
So many different things, but God first. God keeps me grounded. There's a lot of this pretentious energy in the entertainment business, and I think you can kind of go far, kind of looking down on others, and that energy is supported and sometimes even expected. Like some fans kind of want you to create this boundary where it's like they don't want to see you as a real person. They want to see you as like a Beyonce, someone you don't get to see all the time. Someone that is like an alien, rare sighting, and they want to feel that way. They want to feel special, for connecting with someone who's way better than them. And for me, I know that God doesn't want me to live like that. God wants me to connect with people regardless of what they think. If they think, you're just a regular artist, you're just a regular person, Ade, so that's not as intriguing to me. I'm going to go fanboy over the person that I'll never talk to in real life because people want what they can't have. And in a sense, they want to feel connected in the disconnectedness, if that makes sense. And I just know that God does not want that for me. I don't have a better answer than God keeping me grounded. Being grateful and having a spiritual foundation is everything. A lot of people who are talented get targeted for their low self-esteem, and that can be dangerous, mixing money and fame and power and all this stuff. Low self-esteem, insecurities, and someone seeking vengeance. That's like this, that's kind of on a psychological level to have an artist that, you want to, that has talent, but you want to control. That's the recipe. You can always manipulate them and make them feel like it's all about them. You can always manipulate them and make it feel like nobody cared about them until they were famous. You always manipulate them and make them feel like they are now on a new plateau that only certain few chosen people can reach. And that, that kind of creates this environment for a mental environment and space for industry artists that's actually unhealthy for them. And I can see that. And, being around certain celebrities and influencers, and I realized that they're actually fighting for their lives to live like me and you, because we actually have the real freedom. We have our peace, we have, we might not have all the money and all the resources, but sometimes the way you get it is the most important. So that's what keeps me grounded.
Well, thanks for sharing that. That really does provoke a lot of thought. So I'm thinking on that a little bit. But I would like to find out, what does the future look like for you? Where do you see you going?
I think about this every day. Because I'm like, all right, well, I denied the fame. So what do I want from here? Because like I said, I knew it was going to come, but I knew I wanted something more. I think the future more looks like me, like not pushing back as much and me not being afraid. When I look into the future, I see myself staying independent. I see myself just being a symbol for people to create, because that's really what it matters. And success is great. It's encouraged. As for me, I'm still struggling with that idea for myself.
Well, thanks so much for being so open, honest, so authentic. I really appreciate that, and I'm sure our listeners will as well. As we come to a close, one of the things we do is encourage guests and listeners to, interact. So is that something you're open to? So, to someone reaching out to you?
Yeah, I'm always open to working and collaborating and creating and making moments happen. Like that's really what it's about. Like as an artist, I realize that you will be remembered through the memories, the good memories, and you will live forever through good memories is kind of what I meant to say. So creating those moments are so important to me. Surrounding myself with good people and cool ideas, like trying different things. I'm always open for that.
Great. And what are the best ways that we can reach you?
Instagram, email. My Instagram being Hakim, Hakim worldwide, and my email being sunnywalkoflife@gmail.com. Those are the best ways.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for spending time with us and for sharing so openly with us.
No problem.
Really appreciate
Thanks for
that.
having me. Yeah.
All right. And we will look out for more from you. I know as you continue to build and grow, you will have more to share. So we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you. Yes.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Begin, Build, Blossom, Your Business Journey, a CME Accounting LLC podcast. Please subscribe and be on the lookout for our next episode. If you'd like to share any feedback with us, please email us at podcast@cmeaccountingllc.com.